Smooth as
Hello.
ever.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod Sunday night
So
show, the shit show. Pat starting us off with a bang.
it's a shit show for a reason. I like to blow it right in the start and lower expectations. This is the
Uh,
Biden philosophy of winning the White House.
you crushed it.
So
Yeah,
let me tell you what happened. I hit our start stream thing,
yeah.
and it says a premium X account is required to stream to Twitter now. So it wouldn't start because I can't stream it to Twitter. So we're not streaming to Twitter now. We're now
Really?
only on YouTube. Yep.
That's new, but also, I mean, we're kind of like halfway premium.
Let me see if it lets me look at the note. A premium account on X is required in order to stream on the platform. That's what it says. We're not premium enough. Apparently.
I guess not. That's our I'm curious what all the comments are. Sorry, what a great start we're having here. That's really a bummer, and I don't know how to see that without going away from my computer, but that's too bad. That's new, right?
Yeah, that's brand new for sure, and we're not streaming on Twitter. 100%. So
wow. He's just not going to be happy till he gets even more money. Being the richest man in the world is not enough. So speaking of shit show, there was a press conference the other day. Speaking of, my dog is feeling sad because I just yelled at her because she demolished a pillow. So she was lying here.
Wait, Biden is live now, so we're going to get him on here.
Yep. Hero, sheltering his family from those bullets. We should all hold his family and all those injured in our prayers. Earlier today, I spoke about an ongoing investigation. We do not know the motive of the shooter yet. We don't know his opinions or affiliations. We don't know whether he had help or support or if he communicated with anyone else. Law enforcement professionals, as I speak, are investigating those questions. Tonight, I want to speak to what we do know. A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We must not go down this road in America. We've traveled it before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer. Whether it's with members of Congress of both parties being targeted and shot, or a violent mob attacking the Capitol on January 6th, or a brutal attack on the spouse of former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or information and intimidation on election officials, or the kidnapping plot against the sitting governor, or an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. There is no place in America for this kind of violence, for any violence ever. Period. No exceptions. We can't allow this violence to be normalized. You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility to do that. Yes, we have deeply felt strong disagreements. The stakes in this election are enormously high. I've said it many times that the choice in this election we make in this election is going to shape the future of America and the world for decades to come. I believe that with all my soul. I know that millions of my fellow Americans believe it as well. And some have a different view as to the direction our country should take. Disagreement is inevitable in American democracy. It's part of human nature.
Grenade juice.
Politics must never be a literal battlefield, and God forbid, a killing field. I believe politics ought to be an arena for peaceful debate, to pursue justice, to make decisions guided by the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. We stand for an America, not of extremism and fury, but of decency and grace. All of us now face the time of testing as the election approaches. And the higher the stakes, the more fervent the passions become. This places an added burden on each of us to ensure that no matter how strong our convictions, we must never descend into violence. The Republican convention will start tomorrow. I have no doubt they'll criticize my record and offer their own vision for this country. I'll be traveling this week making the case for our record and the vision, my vision of the country, our vision. I'll continue to speak out strongly for our democracy, stand up for our Constitution and the rule of law, to call for action at the ballot box, no violence on our streets. That's how democracy should work. We debate and disagree. We compare and contrast the character of the candidates, the records, the issues, the agenda, the vision for America. But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box. You know, that's how we do it, at the battle box, not with bullets. The power to change America should always rest in the hands of the people, not in the hands of would-be assassin. You know, the path forward through competing visions of the campaign should always be resolved peacefully, not through acts of violence. You know, we're blessed to live in the greatest country on earth, and I believe that with every soul, every power of my being.
Every
so
soul of my
I'm
being.
asking every American to recommit, to make America, what think about it. What's made America so special?
Come on.
Here in America, everyone must be treated with dignity and respect, and hate must have no safe harbor. Here in America, we need to get out of our silos, where we only listen to those with whom we agree, where misinformation is rampant, where foreign actors fan the flames of our division to shape the outcomes consistent with their interests, not ours.
Oh my God.
Let's remember, here in America, while unity is the most elusive of goals right now, nothing is more important for us now than standing together. We can do this. You know, from the beginning, our founders understood the power of passion. So they created democracy that gave reason and balance a chance to prevail over brute force. That's the American we must be. An American democracy where arguments are made in good faith. An American democracy where the rule of law is respected. An American democracy where decency, dignity, fair play aren't just quaint notions, but living, breathing realities. We owe that to those who come before us, to those who gave their lives for this country. We owe that to ourselves. We owe it to our children and our grandchildren. Look, let's never lose sight of who we are. Let's remember we are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
Is he taking questions?
President Biden speaking
right.
from the Oval Office, talking for about
we
6 or so minutes. CNN's
we hear
Dan
their
Bash
quick
is joining the panel along with
reaction?
John King,
They're
Ashley
gonna say it's
Ellison,
great.
David Urban, and David Axelrod.
Tonight's the night Biden
Dana, what do
became
you think of the
president.
president's speech?
Well, he
Yes.
he did what he needed to do to try to calm the very real anger, fear, tension that has been spreading throughout the country since what we saw yesterday, just 26 hours ago. I did think it was interesting that he didn't back down from the call for continuing with the core of democracy. I know we've seen a lot of Republicans blame him, blame Democrats for warning about the end of democracy. He certainly didn't say that, but he talked about the tenets of democracy and the need to continue the discussion and the real debate using words and not anything else, and focusing on the end goal, which is November and the ballot box.
Ashley, what'd you think?
I thought it was a good speech. I thought it was important. I agree that I'm glad he did not back down about what is at stake in this election and democracy. That's why we
Back
have
down?
elections, so that people can give a point of
I don't even
view.
know what they're talking
He
about.
also was able
wanna-
to draw a story about
I
the
mean-
varying attacks that many people, whether they were Republicans or Democrats, have faced with political violence, whether it
Do
be
you wanna
the
watch more of
attack on Donald
this?
Trump today.
I can't. It's all right. I'm sorry. It's a train wreck, and I can never stop watching train wrecks. But,
I mean, it just always makes me so angry, all of it. They have nothing new to say, and they are all culpable for all of this. He slurred his words through there, truly presidential.
he slurred his words through. Somebody said 8 minutes. 8 minutes of a teleprompter right in front of him. So not even the normal difficulty of looking at two teleprompters because you're giving a speech to an audience. Straight in front of them, people with signs probably giving him the "don't say that," whatever you do thing. Stop going off track.
Whispering, not
And
gonna happen.
What the fuck do the troops have to do with this thing? He ended it on the troops.
I mean, honestly, on some level, it has everything to do with it, right? Like, as we have all talked about, We are a violent nation. We are starving every single social service infrastructure in our country, militarizing our police, and engaging in bombing and war campaigns all around the world. So, like, it makes actually a lot of sense. Everybody's angry. People are like hyped up. Nobody is speaking to anything that people actually need of material interests. And everything is just like ad hominem attacks on each other. That's the whole, like,
I know, but I mean, he gave this whole speech, and it's, you know, obviously he's trying to pepper it with America United, all that stuff. But like, he didn't make any connection to the troops in the speech to make it make sense at the end, is my point. So,
I seriously, yeah, no,
like,
I'm sorry. I know you weren't saying, I understood your point, but like,
yeah, I got you.
Like, America, you know, it's like that kind of weird thing.
But for him to lean in on like the unity thing, I mean, of course, you know, that's what you want your president to say, but everybody knows how divided this country has become under his leadership. And it reminds people of 2020 when he ran on uniting the country.
Right.
And didn't.
Yep.
And so here he is in his second election. First election was uniting the country. And now, oh, you're going on TV because somebody shot the president, and maybe calling him Hitler for the last 3 years might have had something to do with that. Yeah. You know, I mean, but like,
yeah, no,
anyway, unforced error after unforced error. And of course, they're going to give him accolades for how brilliant this speech was. And it's something somebody wrote, and he actually got to read it, and it didn't shit his pants on TV.
Shit the pants on TV. Yeah. It wasn't great though. And I did just see an article in Axios that said that basically Democrats are just resigning themselves to losing to Trump, which of course, like, all right, let's take it back to the actual event, right? Should we do that? I mean, I'm sure most of you have seen it. Do we even need to show it? Do you want to show some of it? And then what should we do?
I say we forget that we saw that and just start our show like we normally would. What do you think?
With the wheel.
Do you know what the code? That's code for spin the wheel and let's have a drink, and then let's get to it.
Okay, we don't have it. Yeah, we don't have a cheers today, so we're gonna start it off with something fun, and then we're really gonna dive into all of this craziness. All right.
Yeah, baby.
I thought that was gonna be a lot longer than 8 minutes.
Look at that, a timeline cleanse, and I'm gonna go ahead. And I already froze. Well, perfect timing for that. You show time. Oh no, look at that. What?
See, it's possible.
Yeah, I guess so.
This one seems to fit.
That was perfect. Very funny. I am drinking, and I am also about to share the inciting event. So then we can kind of really get into what happened. And of course, there it is. Here we go. Give me a second. I'm always afraid I'm going to freeze. All right. This was what happened yesterday. So just so everybody knows, Pat and I were going to cover the press conference, the reassuring press conference, which, I mean, it's amazing every day. It's like a whole new shit show. But the the NATO press conference, and then the following big boy press conference, and then yesterday Trump held a rally and once again was able to pull focus. So this was yesterday. They were in Pennsylvania, right? Pennsylvania? No, no. Where the hell were they? Pennsylvania.
I think Pennsylvania, because it was the police department had a P in it. So
okay, that could be the police part. Now I'm totally forgetting.
It's not the police part for sure, though. It's Pennsylvania. I'm 99%.
Okay. So here is we're just gonna kind of
really see something that said. Take a look at what happened.
Yeah, he really did turn his head at just the right
I
time.
mean, it's crazy. I don't know why that's my favorite part when he says, "Let me get my shoes."
Get my shoes.
I mean, all of this is horrible. But, yeah.
I mean, you could not script this any better for Trump's campaign, which is why the conspiracy theories are flowing. But
yeah, it's over. It's all over. All right, and then they get him. That's pretty much it, right? Then they just get him in the motorcade and go away. You know, it's funny. I'm going to remove this before the whole right. We're done with this. Yeah.
yeah, we don't need it.
Yeah. We have so many other things to get into. I'm just going to remove it to the studio because the more graphics I put up, the more likely I'm going to get frozen out. Yeah. As soon as he popped up with his fist, so I immediately said it was a false flag. That was my first thing. I wrote you right away. I was like, false flag. And then I went online and everybody was saying the same thing. And I think you're right. Like, whatever the truth of it is, and at some point we'll find out, there I froze. Look at that.
I'm waiting for you to unfreeze, but it's not happening.
I don't think it's going to happen. Oh my God. All right. Pat, keep it going. I'll be right back.
It's all right. I got it. I got timeline cleanses galore. Let's do it. Here we go.
Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? Duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? I don't need to know what you looked like watching that TikTok. Can we stop duetting videos when we have absolutely nothing to add to them? I don't.
That is something I will never understand. Hi, I'm back. Hello, everybody. Okay. Let's start over. What we normally start with, now that I'm like, okay, what we normally start with is thanking our pup members, and we don't have the graphic. So
we don't have the graphic. Oh, I have the graphic.
Yeah, is right. But we do just want to thank everybody for your support. We are so appreciative. And just a reminder, there we go, to make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell, please. And we are going to expand and make sure that we get on a couple other like Rumble and stuff. We're in the process of doing all that kind of thing so we can not be interrupted.
Cringy TikTok videos. Let's do this, Lila.
Let's do it. We're going to do some TikTok videos. And we might even have to bump up a level for our subscriptions so that Mr. Elon Musk can get a couple more of our dollars. Okay. So right away, all the conspiracy theories kick in. One, because I mean, come on. First of all, here is a guy who, got out of military service, which I will never be upset with anybody for trying to get out of military service. But like, this is one of the biggest cry bullies in the world, right? He's such a snowflake. He's not like a fighter unless he knows that everybody around him is pulling their weight. He gets shot in the ear, pops back up, puts his fist up, and says, fight. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt not like the normal response when something like that happened. So I think that was also what really kind of just got people started, right?
I think that's part of it. I mean, you've got the WWE Trump personality,
Yeah.
the last time he was on stage, a lot of people accredit him in 2020 or 2016 for beating Hillary because of the attack when the guy charged the stage and he stood and tough guyed it.
Right.
So there's like in your psyche, there's a little bit of is this PR? Is this spin?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then his ears just clipped and people didn't know anyone had died in the audience. So
right.
It took a long time to know that. So you think, well, he just got sort of hit with a BB gun or something or some kind of.
Even then, it was surprising to me. And then, of course, it came out that the guy behind him on the podium, he was on the podium, but the guy like facing his back, basically, who when everybody else hits the floor, like is up looking around, which also is like, who does that? Like, there are shots ringing out. Why is that guy standing up and looking around? I don't know. There was just a lot of stuff that felt like not how you would imagine this to play out if you were scripting it like a normal event, not planned, not a false flag.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we should get to the eyewitness probably next.
Okay. Let's start.
And this was first reported on BBC News. It took like, I want to say at least an hour before the mainstream press touched this at all.
Yeah.
Like the mainstream press was really determined to not even label this an assassination attempt, which I find really strange. Like it was clearly, it was clear, they were orders sent down from a lot of these people to not use language that implies this is an assassination attempt.
Well, and I wonder, I mean, this is awful, but I think a lot of us exhaled a sigh of relief when we found out the perpetrator wasn't Black or brown, wasn't, Arab American or Muslim, as far as we know, wasn't a lefty, even
Bernie bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of those things that even, obviously some MAGA people were pushing and they all turned out not to be true. And even I think there was one thing reported that I guess it's what his name is, Thomas Matthew Crooks, is that he was a registered Republican, but had donated $15 to some like lib PAC, like save democracy kind of thing right on the day of inauguration, 2021. But first of all, that wouldn't even matter. Like one donation,
right,
3 years ago, but then it's turned out that it was a different Thomas Crooks who was like 69 who did that donation. So like, anyway, I am glad that they weren't like, it's a terrorist attack, it's an assassination right from the get-go. But this interview was
once you have an audience member killed by this shot and Trump shot in the ear, it's an assassination attempt.
Of course, yeah.
And they took, honestly, like I think it took till midnight or something before them to say it was actually an assassination.
To use those words, they were, following the orders from the White House. So this is the first part. It's about 2 minutes. It's an interview by a BBC correspondent named Gary O'Donoghue.
A lot of people were very, very frightened. Greg was someone who was here. You weren't inside the event,
nope,
but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw. And
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party. And we all decided, hey, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, But we noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling
Yep.
the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
So, of course, that adds a lot of fuel to the fire, right? And there's another person interviewed also who basically says the same thing. Let's just show like the first 10 seconds, just so people really know, like this was not just a one-off, but then I would love to go back to that guy. But so
just take me back. What were you doing before the shooting happened? And then what did you see and hear?
I was just standing there like everybody else, waiting for Trump. And as Trump started, I noticed 2 officers that were looking for something or somebody. I was looking around myself and seeing a guy on top of one of the buildings go in between one building to the next, and went and told the officer that he was up there. And when I went back to my spot, I heard that people could still see the person from where they were standing. So I checked that out, and I went back to tell the officer that if he came over there, he could see them. And when I turned my back is when the shots started, and then it took me a second or two to figure out exactly what it was. And then it was just getting out of there and helping some other person out with her child, and we got out, and that was the end of that.
So that's crazy. I mean, that is crazy. Like, it's a small place. There aren't that many buildings. Like when they show the layout from Google Maps, there was one building where basically it didn't seem like they had their snipers trained, or they were watching, the Secret Service was watching, and that was the building where he was.
I watched a few interviews with, Secret Service agents and, sniper guys and whatnot. And overwhelmingly, they agree, look, for a modern Secret Service to not have a drone for an overhead view of the event.
Yeah.
Because I could go to Target and buy a $40 drone that could cover this whole event and have a bird's eye view and someone on camera and say quadrant G3 shooter, G3 shooter, because this guy had to slowly crawl up, was witnessed by at least 2 people that were interviewed, which means probably 10 people saw this thing.
Yeah. And people are shouting, like, I mean, we have a short video, but they're like, there's a shooter. It's all unusual. And the Secret Service was not they did not do a press conference yesterday. The Butler County PD did, but the Secret Service have not spoken about it yet. And again, there's a lot of, there's so much leading up to this that we're going to get into, but part of what's also leading up to this is RFK Jr., who is, incredibly well known from a family where both his father
douchey
and his uncle were assassinated. He is the third, the third candidate who's getting the most press and the most support. He's asked for Secret Service. It's been denied to him. So there's already like a mistrust of Biden, because that's up to Biden's administration, whether or not it's assigned. So like, it just lays a foundation for mistrust.
It does. And look, knowing how good Secret Service is and how well they cover these events, to know that these people saw this and they didn't react, and they didn't notice it on their own, obviously.
Right.
But then you got people pointing out with both these people say minutes.
Yeah.
We're talking minutes of somebody could have gotten to it. So look, and at the end of the day, look backwards and think, who did this help? This helped Biden because Biden is trying to just divert himself, the attention.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Bear
I'm gonna
with
let
me.
you go, sorry. Okay.
I'm just posing a theory,
Okay.
a conspiracy theory, because he is the one who is going to get less media attention because the media attention was hardcore on removing him from office. And now it's on this Trump thing. And if he can buy enough time to get himself to the convention, which they're speeding up, and he can become the nominee, they'll portray it as there is simply no time now. We're stuck with Biden. Now, the Democratic Party, I don't think wants that anymore.
Yeah.
I think there's a coup. They're trying to get him out, rightfully so. But that doesn't mean that Biden couldn't still have some sway and some powers. And, so this is the conspiracy foundation.
Right.
I'm just putting that out there.
No, I understand. Yeah.
One
you're
of the
right.
conspiracies.
That is one of the conspiracies. I know there's so many, right? Like, did Trump team do it? Did Trump team do it because now he emerges as a hero? He looks strong. I will never understand the audience response. Like, it's like when people are heckling or protesting Biden speeches and calling him, saying, stop the genocide. Why are you arming? And people be like, 4 more years. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, it's so gross. And then with this, Trump, goes down, comes back up, says fight. And the crowd just starts chanting USA, which is like, I mean,
it's so perfect for him. It's WWE wrestling.
Yeah. So
but
it
like,
does
so even if the foundation, even if this originated with Trump, like this is a Trump conspiracy and Trumpers did it, or somebody trying to help Trump or whatever.
Yeah.
And, they let this go off knowing he wouldn't get killed, or you can go the other way. It just didn't work out. But Trump is helped by Biden by being a distraction from Biden, because that means Biden's probably the nominee if this plan works.
It's a big fugazi.
It's the clear. I mean, Biden's the easiest one for him to beat.
Totally. Yeah.
And if you want to talk about something on the line in this election, Trump, because Trump can't be charged with all these crimes while he's president. They will all be on hold. Any lawsuit that is still existing.
Yeah. It's like the Netanyahu play. Right.
So
I meant kayfabe, not fugazi. It's kayfabe. It's all like it's worldwide wrestling. So I mean, of course, that's how everybody is feeling. There is video of people saying there's a shooter. You see a Secret Service sniper up on a roof doing nothing until the shot hits Trump, and then they shoot and they blow his head off. That's the second part of the interview. I don't know if we need to show, but that BBC interview. So as Pat said, like at first, Pat sent it to me, 4.5-minute video. I watched it. It's pretty startling, right? Like somebody's saying we were telling Secret Service that there's a shooter on the roof. They did nothing. And then people get shot. Then about an hour later, they start showing parts of that interview all over all of corporate media, cable news. So for the next, 7 hours, I'm seeing clips of it. As I was going to bed, I was, back online, doom scrolling. And there's a New York Times reporter who knows the journalist who was doing the interview, Gary Donahue. And the reporter said another, brilliant segment by Gary Donahue, who is blind. And that just like, it really did hit me hard that here is chaos happening, violence, shots ringing out. And this man who, can't see is going towards the crowd to interview people. And like the photograph that now is like the cherry on top of Trump's winning second campaign, the one that everybody has been talking about that now watch, I won't be able to find, even though we have it right here. Yeah, that, wait. The first one. Where's the first? Okay. Pat, where is it? Oh my God. No, I know it's me. But that photo, oh my God, where's the photo? We don't even have the photo, the Evan Nietzsche photo that everybody.
Not solo. It's part of a million memes we have.
Is that why? Okay. Yeah. Probably. All right. I had the one, and then I think we had, here, this one. So Evan Vucci, from New York Times, there was also footage of him, like, so, as all the chaos is happening, shots are fired, people, like, right away, it took like 5 seconds for them to be like, the shooter's down. Well, how do you know that's the only shooter? And then people are popping up and chanting, like, everything just felt so chaotic and weird. But for journalists, like actual journalists, to move towards the danger to document it, as opposed to, the Dana Bashes and the Jim Scavutos or whatever, who, were harassed by Trump.
Yeah.
I just thought that was sort of, it kind of moved me, right? Like, here's this journalist. But anyway.
Well, that reminds me, if you haven't seen it, that new movie Civil War kind of
I have not seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, because I have all my illegal things.
Don't tell me
I watch
that.
every movie a day once it's a day old. But
Yeah.
sorry, producers and Hollywood people. But it basically follows, like, there's a civil war in the country, and the bad guys want to go kill the president, and a group of journalists try to embed themselves and head towards all the action, and have to cross, like, states where people with guns are running the states and
Right.
hate them, and they run
Yeah.
towards the action. So that's all I'm going to say.
That is really interesting.
But it's
I
really-
can't wait to see it. Yeah.
It's really forecasting the doomsday scenario
Right.
our Democrats want us to believe, at least.
Yeah. Well, it was also interesting, according to NPR, and now, we have so many graphics up here that I thought we had really labeled well. And now I'm like scrolling through, I can't find anything, but apparently a lot of the rally goers, the Trump supporters who were there after Trump was escorted away, turned towards the press who was there and, like, telling them to fuck off and saying it was their fault. And
Yeah, a lot of
yeah.
the MAGA people were, like, flipping off the press immediately, like,
Yeah.
blaming the press for all of these things.
I mean, listen, I mean, we can just start, like, rifling through the way Trump has, and by the way, like, he sort of deserves it for his violent, racist rhetoric, but they have, pipered him into literal Hitler, worse than Hitler, existential
Right.
threat, right? And when you do that, instead of actually talking about his policies, and also instead of separating him away from the rest of the Republicans who are all the same, right? And also from Joe Biden, who also is saying, having Kamala go down to the border and saying, do not come to people who are seeking asylum, who's bombing the hell out of, Palestinian civilians and destroying all of Gaza. Like, Trump's racism is not singular. And to elevate him to this status, I think it is really dangerous.
And Democrats did that. And the other thing they did, back to the media and how the audience immediately turned on the press. Look, all that's enabled because the press does not deserve to be trusted. The press has been proven to be a propaganda arm of the ruling party.
Yeah.
And if you want to call that Democrats, sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, they lied a lot, have been exposed a lot as liars. So when they tell the truth about Trump, well, look, if I'm a MAGA guy, I can point to 20 lies they tell about him and still tell to this day.
100%.
So it's easy for me as a MAGA person, if I was a MAGA person, to not research beyond that, because it's easy to dismiss something new when you already think they're liars. So,
yeah. And they are liars. So yeah. And also, we know that they elevated him so much that it rescued MSNBC and CNN and the failing New York Times in 2016 when Trump became president. They loved covering him. I mean, we really are living through, like, this reality TV show where they are all in cahoots to elevate and bring in viewers. Like, this sensationalism is their livelihood. I mean, Jeff Zucker, the president of MSNBC, he said that, right? So, like, you see, the New Republic, they just ran this last week, right? American fascism. There he is. Maddow and AOC just a week ago, 5 days ago. No, wait, what is that? Sorry, I'm gonna have to put on my my readers. The 19th, June 19th, a month ago, almost. Yeah. Trump will jail them in massive camps if he wins. This is The Guardian, the new Fuhrer. Now, again, I just want to say, like, he has used despicable, racist, Hitler-esque language, and that's on purpose, and it's vile. But because Democrats never want to run on policy that could help people and make them look away from a demagogue like that, all they can do is paint him as the worst, the most evil, like the way they do with Putin or the way they're doing with Erdogan, who, again, like, they're awful, but so's Netanyahu. So, like, they're going to lambast Trump for meeting with Erdogan, but not the same press is not going to say anything about Biden doing a genocide with Netanyahu, right? So anyway, here's a little more. This is The Independent. This is The Washington Post. It's okay to compare Trump to Hitler. Don't let me stop you. So, like, this has been an ongoing project of Democrats and corporate media.
Absolutely. Let's show the clip that we have of some of these brilliant leftists and how they are keeping
libs.
Well, yes, but libs.
All right.
Here's a low light reel of some of the lefty libby stuff.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay, so I'm sure that's a right-wing person. I agree with like half of those people.
Half of them I support entirely.
But many of the political people and pundits who were talking were fine with police coming in and bashing, pro-Palestinian, anti-genocide college protesters, but they just did it all against Trump. That's where their violence was, which again, it's like, it just becomes this ugly game where they don't really believe that. Like, we already know that Biden, well, and he didn't do it in this speech, but I think it was again Axios, I can't remember which speech it was supposed to be and which journal just said that he was going to talk about the rising violence and tie it into the pro-Palestinian protesters on campuses, which the violence only came from the state and from police, right? It was not, so like these people aren't serious about getting in the face of the representatives who are killing all of us, like, destroying our environment, our infrastructure, our health, our world. They don't really, they will say it's not, we need to respect people. And just because somebody is a civil servant, you're not supposed to like accost them in a restaurant. They say that if it's somebody on their team or somebody they party with. But against Trump, they were all fine with it.
Yeah. And really, I mean, they want to tone down the violent rhetoric of the pro-Palestinian people. That is their number one issue with all of this. The fact that they're trying to tie this to that is really the biggest of all stretches. But, that's what they do. I mean, all the violence at these events is state ordered, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
You want to tone the violence down, let people have their freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Do that.
And again, like, this is part of the plan because I know we're all beyond Bernie on so many levels. So the only reason I keep coming back to him is because that was my last moment of hope in 2020 before he bowed out, because we were seeing what it could actually look like if somebody were speaking to the needs, the very popular policies across the spectrum, and how, he would say, like, I think Trump is the most dangerous president. But then he wasn't like he's Hitler, he's this and that. He would say, dangerous rhetoric, this is what we need, right? Democrats in general will never say that because they will not commit to doing anything that we need because it'd go against the donors who are the same donors that Republicans have. So instead, it becomes this like name-calling clown show that is dangerous.
It is, but what we're going to see from this as a result of this is Biden moving even more right. Like, this is permission to go right further because he's going to tone down the leftist rhetoric. He's going to squash the pro-Palestine supporters. He's going to try to appeal to the MAGA folks for their sympathy and empathy and, try to be this uniter that understands their views and all that stuff, which is fine if you do that. But, don't attack the people on your left then, which is what he's going to do. And then he's going to blame us for the political climate that he lost the election for.
Exactly. That's going to be the whole thing. And, we saw yesterday right away, all of these, political, either representatives, ex-presidents, even the, Ministry of Defense from Israel, talking about how there's no place for political violence. And across the political spectrum, which in our country is like, an inch wide, you had everybody just right away, wishing this person that you've said is an existential threat. We're all going to die. He's going to put me in camps, but get well, champ. Hope nobody should have done that to you. Like, it's just incongruous.
This is my favorite. I mean, this sets it. You almost don't have to show anymore. Today we're all MAGA. So, like, okay, how many articles did the establishment run saying violent coup, violent resurrection, Hitler?
Yeah.
But today we're all Hitler. Today we are all Hitler. Today,
I mean, it is truly just a completely bankrupt ideology. Right. So the story goes that upon arrival, President Reagan said to the surgeons, I just hope you're Republicans. This was after the assassination attempt on him. And a doctor is said to have replied, today, Mr. President, we're all Republicans. Today, we're all MAGA. No, the fuck we're not. I'm not MAGA. I'll never be MAGA. I mean,
they spent 6 years or whatever, how many years making the MAGA hat, the KKK hat. And now you're saying we're all KKK hats? Like, that's.
But by the way, like, and it's not just, we know that Biden went around 26 environmental laws to continue Trump's wall, building Trump's wall. More money to cops, more money to the military industrial, like his whole fascist border policy that went further than any, Republican would have proposed. Like, Yeah, they are. Yeah. You guys are. You're all MAGA. You're all fucking Republicans. And like, they are destroying our world. And then they're upset. But the class solidarity of all of them right away, like political violence, we can't do.
Well, I have never agreed with this person harder if they're talking about the establishment Democrats.
Yeah, 100%. That should be Biden's new lawn sign. Biden Harris 24. We're all MAGA.
We're MAGA. We're MAGA.
I mean, truly, we've all been saying that, and everybody gets mad at us, right? Like when the left is like blue MAGA, blue and on, whatever. They're like, oh, you just want Trump. No, we don't want Trump. We hate him, which is why we also hate you for either enacting all of his policies or doing nothing to stop him. Okay, so there were a couple of really, well, this one just broke my heart. It came out almost right away and then proved to be entirely true. Democrats are about to post more sympathetic messages about Donald Trump than 40,000 massacred Palestinians. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's not that we don't. Everyone gets the almost need to say political violence is bad. If you're a politician, fine. I understand that. But there has to be some sort of like accountability for ignoring, like at the end of the day, one person was killed here. Palestine right now.
I'm just going to say, yeah, I think
or two people, excuse me. Palestine just bombed all the schools left. You know, I mean,
with our bombs.
The gruesome images from Palestine compared to Trump's ear being nicked. And I know I don't want to compare tragedies, but it's just like, it really rubs people wrong when you ignore such blatant violence from our government.
Because what we're doing there, it's like, remember when Pete Buttigieg thought he had some big like own on Republicans? It was after a mass shooting when Trump was president, or no, I actually think it was when he was running. It might have been in the primaries. And it was a picture of him in Afghanistan with his, I don't know what any of the ammunition stuff is called.
And he had all the wrong.
Yeah, he had the gun belt and all the crap all over.
Bad finger control and all that.
But he was like, I didn't carry an AR-15 in Afghanistan just to see it be used here at home. And it's like, wait a second. It's not Afghan people who are coming here and demolishing us with ammunition, rifles, arms, the way we're doing to them. So it shouldn't happen anywhere. But again, it's like, it was some, like, as it almost always is, like white supremacist, racist person. And those weapons shouldn't be used on anybody anywhere. Like all of it just feels like, okay, no political violence. Great. I agree. You should be able to go to a rally and hear somebody say the most evil, ludicrous stuff that Trump and Biden and all these other, capitalist fascists say, and feel like you're going to emerge in one piece and alive. 100%. But so should peaceful protesters on campus or not on campus, walking the street. So should people wearing keffiyehs. So should and they don't speak out about that at all.
No, and exactly. And what we've got is, okay, so this is going to ramp up the calls from Biden to protect MAGA events, which, they're not full-blown KKK rallies, but there's some disgusting shit happening there. But they should be able to have their disgusting shit rallies. Who cares? Right. But at the same time, this peaceful rally for Palestine is going to be quashed by him because he's going to view that as discourse that's toxic to America and causing all this division. And at the same time, literally, we've got IDF soldiers who are part of the atrocities happening in Palestine, training our military. We're building all these cop cities. They're training the cop cities to how to deal with protesters. And these protesters are the Palestinian supporters, So like this whole convergence of terrible government that we don't, terribly fascist government that we don't support is going to only get amped up because we're trying to stop the fascists.
Right.
And it's going to lead to us losing to the fascists. I mean, when I say us, Democrats losing to the fascists.
Yeah.
Us all being under Biden, I mean, Trump fascism versus Biden fascism. But I mean, this whole thing just seals the deal that if they use this to protect and shield Biden from criticism for 2 weeks or so, which is what the media is going to try to do because they got their orders now. We're trying to do this, but there's also an internal coup. So who knows? But if history shows us anything, it's that we're going to end up fucking stuck with Biden now because of this is my fear. But I still think he's out, but
yeah, I mean, I am so 50-50 on it. I like waffle 180 every minute, like I think they think it's too messy. I think they would lose with Kamala anyway. I think that they do this thing where they're like, we had a primary. We can't just negate 14 million voices. Meanwhile, 4 months ago, they're like, no, you don't get a primary. He's the sitting president. You don't primary. Like they were really clear about it. You don't get a primary. And now
you got 80. You can't tell the public that you can't remove Biden because of democracy when 80% of the fucking country wants him out. 80% of voters want Biden out. Like it's just such a lie that people are going to be so mad if you remove Biden when 80% of the people want him out. Like that's just
they're going to be
stupid.
Yeah. They're going to be mad if it's done in a back room with nobody able to see what's happening. And they screwed up the whole process. I mean, they got themselves in this situation on purpose because they knew that if they ran a primary against Biden,
you could get Bernie in, who sucks, but I would vote for Bernie in this system.
Me too.
And
I hate Gavin Newsom, but like anybody honestly would show up better than Biden, right? So they knew that. So they tried to protect him all through this. And now, I mean, I'd love to say they're getting what they deserve, but no, we're getting what they deserve. Like we're going to get what they all deserve. So, I'm
blocking a user, VRMN. They both sound like they're vaccinated. I will put up with a lot of discourse, but like, if you're going to come in here with some, you guys are vaccinated people talk, just get the fuck out of here. I don't have time for that shit.
Okay, so let's move on. So there were a couple of sort of funny memes that came out of this whole horror show. One was this whole political violence ordeal, which was so ridiculous that all these people as Tiberius sorry, I'm getting texts from people in my family. Don't they know I'm busy? News, U.S. bombs killed 20,000 Palestinians. Obama, nothing. News, the figure is now 40,000. Half children, nothing from Obama. News, children's limbs, jaws, heads are being blown off with U.S. munitions live to the world. Nothing. News, almost 200,000 now feared dead. Obama, nothing. News, Trump shot in the ear, and there comes Barack Obama, who, by the way, like just for us all to remind ourselves, has come out of his money cave exactly 3 times now. Well, I guess this would be a half, right? Once to crush Bernie, right after that to crush a possible NBA strike right after George Floyd was murdered. And now to try to coordinate with, the muckety-muck Dem elite to get rid of the guy who he helped promote to the White House in the first place.
Right.
What an awful, disgusting man.
And look, since we're doing conspiracy talk tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, who is, look, I don't really believe this, but who the fuck knows anymore right now?
Yeah.
So Michelle Obama is polling the best against Trump.
Yeah.
Polling the best. She's not a politician. She shows up in all the polls about who could beat Trump. Maybe they want back in. Maybe they do. I don't know. It's weird that he's making such a hard turn against Joe.
Yeah.
Because he's known about his dementia as long as anybody. He's known how terrible Joe is as a politician from the jump.
Right.
It's in the emails that were in the WikiLeaks drops and all that stuff.
Yep.
DNC leaks. So for him to turn now, I mean, look, maybe he actually cares about beating Trump.
I mean, I think on some level, they all have convinced themselves that Trump is truly dangerous. I also think that after, whether or not they believe that, because obviously on some level, they also don't really give a shit because they wouldn't have continued to run Biden knowing that most people didn't want him. They make money either way. They actually make more money if they can raise it off of the opposition being in power. I think specifically, though, for Obama to have Hillary first lose and then possibly now the second person he publicly endorsed also lose to Trump, it is such a referendum on his whole two presidency tenure. I think it has to be humiliating to his legacy on some level in his head.
Maybe. And maybe, I mean, I know part of it, I don't know where it all converges, but I think part of it is they're going to hang Palestine on him.
Yeah.
And so is Obama trying to look beyond Biden to his legacy and the legacy of the Democratic Party? I don't know, but Biden's the scapegoat for all the policy in Palestine. I'm convinced of that 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I think you might be right. It's just what a sad, horrifying, evil strategy for all of this. All right, let's just go back to a little bit of the humor because then we have some videos to show. But so these were some memes that came out that were like, because right away, right? Like the whole political violence thing, right? Like we condemn all violence after 9 months of straight slaughtering of Palestinians.
And 9 months of beating up our own protesters. Like all the violence came from the state.
How do you say we don't believe in political violence when you're sicking your militarized thug police on college students who are protesting your policy? That's politics. And by the way, and like obviously we know what we do in every other country. If we don't like a president, we either stage a coup or we fund armed terrorist resistance
but this is actually at home in the public's face. And that's what the elites don't understand is the difference between the media that they grew up with and the media now. And the media now, everybody sees this stuff you don't want to show us. And so you've got this huge divide, and that that divide is skewing towards the younger people who don't even watch CNN ever.
Yeah.
Literally ever.
Yeah. Well, and they talk about it all the time. People who get their news from TikTok or podcasts or TikTok, you know, it's like, there's nothing intrinsically like inherently bad about TikTok. It's just, we can see the truth on there, and Twitter. Okay. So, you know, some of the jokes they missed, staged. How do you miss? One job. Craig T. Nelson, I'm sorry to get him in trouble if this is about to, but he had a funny tweet that he then deleted, which was, you know, just goes to show you, if you want to beat Trump once and for all, you got to move a little to the left. Come on, that's funny. I wish I had screenshot it before he, I sent it to myself, but then by the time I went to screenshot it, he had already deleted it. He was probably thinking he was going to get in trouble. Trump versus a bullet, Biden versus stairs. How they got that picture. That was another one I couldn't find. Oh, you're muted.
If they truly run Biden, it's over for Biden. I mean, that's the surest of sure things right now.
It's Jover. It's Jover.
This is where it's going to get really interesting because there are a lot of Democrats that really want to stop Trump. And, you know, the pressure, like, the ones that really want to stop Trump are not necessarily the ones in power. It's the people below the people in power.
Yeah.
And that's where the coup and Obama come in, and they'll work together, drop some shit and get Biden out. I still think Biden is more likely to be out than in, but they have bought themselves some time with this shit.
I mean, that's the problem, is they are revealing themselves, right? That they said this is the existential threat to all of us. He is literally Hitler. And all right, we'll try again in 2028. I mean,
yeah.
All right, just a couple other funny memes. This is what the race is now. Don't be mad at me for pointing it out. I'm sure that a lot of these people are disgusting right-winger, awful people. So I'm not endorsing these accounts, just like the memes that were coming out.
Yeah.
Trump's campaign team, Mad Men. I mean, you know, Melania right now. Joe needs to upstage him. He's got to come out as bisexual.
Right.
Still doesn't beat Bush dodging those shoes.
Oh, wait a minute. Fun fact. So one of the guys that got the iconic photo,
Evan Nucci.
I don't know what was that. Was it him who did the so he also captured one of the iconic photos of somebody. Was it someone from Iran?
I think it was somebody from Iran, but wait, did you put it up here or no?
I thought I did, but I couldn't find it because we didn't label very well. We were terrible at labeling right now tonight. But, but anyway, he captured one of the pictures of the guy throwing a shoe at Bush, and here he is right again capturing this iconic moment.
There it is. AP photographer who took that picture of Trump was also at what do they call it? Crisis actors. They're all crisis actors. Yeah. So okay, wait. What do we have last? Oh,
I think we should spin the wheel.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you think?
You're right.
And then
I
jump
totally
into
agree.
Do we jump into some of the conspiracies and the Civil War stuff, or I don't know where we go?
Yeah, then we'll.
Who knows? We'll spin the wheel. We'll wing it.
Yeah. All right. This is 1 second. There we go. I'm spinning.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, for me, it's just pouring another glass because I'm not doing shots tonight, but I'm ready for my second glass. But I'm gonna.
You're right. Sundays we don't do shots.
We get a little reprieve.
Yeah, baby.
I don't need to take my.
Shout out to my next beer, which is Angry Eagle. Delicious. Thought it would fit.
All right, dealer's choice. What do you think?
Do you have a choice? I don't know. I'll
I
push
mean, we
button.
could do a.
Somebody probably wants some pets. You were gonna say here probably.
I was because I always go to the go ahead. No, do pets. That's good.
Pets. All right. Let's see some pets.
Happy.
Singular this time.
Piano, eh? Sì, piano, però.
That is really sweet. That reminds my sweet girl Lucky. I was so mad at her right as we were coming on. She had destroyed one of our pillows, and my son found it and saw it. And I was yelling at her, "No, bad." And now I feel sad because I chase her around the house. It's so hot now. It's like in the 100 teens right now here.
Right.
So I do like a little tag hide and seek with her around the house, and she's just doggies can be really sweet.
Yeah. So I was talking about, I mean, at some point I want to get Strike. I mean, not Strike. Strike's an indoor cat to be born.
Yeah.
My outdoor cat though, I'm like probably her third owner. She probably has 2 houses.
Right.
So
right.
A camera would actually be amazing because I get to see where he lives.
Yeah.
In the off time for me.
That's
I'd probably be in some people's houses and like.
That feels like it could be a serial killer movie. Like that's a good way to get inside other people's places.
You should pass that on to your
I know. I live with a horror writer, so like in my
movies.
head, I'm like, "Ooh, how do you use that?"
That could be a whole movie. That
could be a whole.
It's a whole movie. I'm telling
movie.
you, cat death cam or something.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
All right. What are we moving on to?
Where were we? I mean, we have conspiracy stuff. I mean, there's some more.
We do have. I mean, we don't actually have a ton of it because. Well, there was a conspiracy that he was in so the shooter is this guy named Thomas Matthew Crooks. At first, they said he was Antifa. That was a big thing, right? Definitely he was Antifa, which now also is that under conspiracy. I know we have everything in different places. That's under Civil War. We had a whole Civil War thing. Yeah.
But I think the point with this is there's a lot of bullshit being out there, put out to the public. And because we're on social media and we actually will get a lot of news before CNN and these other shows air it, but a lot of it is also bullshit. So be like, I didn't tweet out any of this stuff.
No,
this entire time because I don't know what's true.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuel some attack, especially on the wrong person, which happens. People get doxxed and they're like suddenly a serial killer or something. And
well, they did that. The first person they did it was somebody like Violetti, some Italian guy, and they called him like Marco Violets and said he said something bad about Trump and this is over now. And he's in Italy right now, I think. Like he's nowhere even near this place. But yeah, so like right away, I don't even know who this guy is, but if we have a civil war, the left just started it. Then we have JD Vance, who's like one of the 3 high-ranking people who might be chosen as Trump's VP. Today is not just some isolated incident. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs. That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. Tim Scott, another possibility. VP possibility. Let's be clear. This was an assassination attempt aided and abetted by the radical left and corporate media incessantly calling Trump a threat to democracy, fascist, or worse. Representative.
Yeah, well, can I just time out that real quick? So he's not wrong. He's wrong to include the radical left because corporate media did paint him as that. Although there's some truth to corporate media painting him as all that stuff.
I mean,
the radical left is saying, no, the center is manipulating you folks on this issue to avoid any discourse that includes our viewpoints on the left, which is where most of the country actually lives.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is such a mess because not normie Dems, corporate Dems. I hate even saying centrist because they're not. They're like, it is, to me, it is so.
When I say centrist, I mean corporate.
Know.
So I
know.
appreciate it.
I just
absolutely.
Like, it is so radical to believe that it's okay that hundreds of thousands of people live on the street because they aren't earning enough and can't afford housing, or that they don't deserve health care, or that some people are just going to become disabled and die, or that like we have to bomb all these countries and have military bases all over the world. Like that is so radical to me that it just makes me so angry. But the truth is, we see the Trump kids partying with Pelosi's kids or grandkids. They're all like, what's her face? Chelsea Clinton being friends with the Trump kids and inviting Ghislaine Maxwell to her wedding. Like they don't really believe that about Trump. Like Pelosi doesn't care. If she had wanted to start impeachment against him right after January 6th, that would have been the time to do it. Why did it take 3 years to bring anything to trial? Like this is all a show for them. It is affecting real people in the real world to have somebody as far right as Trump and then the opposition party be as far right as Democrats now are, and have Joe Biden meet Trump on all of his fascist policies. Like that is dangerous.
Absolutely. And this assassination attempt is only going to provide a gateway for Biden to smoothly go farther right, which is my argument through this.
100%.
That's the plan. Label the radical left, the violence speakers. We're the ones promoting violence.
We're the domestic violent extremists, right?
And regardless, we need these cop cities because they will keep these cities in control and calm the situation.
Yeah.
So more money for cop cities.
To keep those political protesters down.
I mean, they already look, I understand politically pulling the ads. Like, so Biden decided
Right.
to pull all the ads they were running for the next few days, right?
Yeah.
But what that does is that keeps this story not about a political race anymore.
Yep.
It keeps it exactly where Trump wants it. It keeps it exactly where Biden wants it.
Well,
because Biden wants to survive for a few more weeks.
Right. And the
that's his only
convention,
shot at being president.
the RNC convention starts tomorrow, right? In Milwaukee.
I
think
tomorrow
so.
or today. I feel like today.
I think he landed there today, but I think it starts tomorrow. But yeah, no, you're right. So now Biden
all attention's on the Trump
Yeah.
convention.
Yeah.
That's
just the way they all like it. It's perfect. Yeah, there was one more, just this is a, Georgia representative. Joe Biden sent the orders. I mean, that's libelous, right? I mean, that is really kind of crazy. But Biden said, we're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. Like that kind of rhetoric, when Sarah Palin used it, we all called it out. It is dangerous rhetoric, especially when you have a nation whose only product is war. I mean, that's all we do. That's all we export, right? So people are angry, they are desperate, and they are stoking the fire. On both sides, they're stoking the fire. It's disgusting.
And look, I just want to go on record. I'm not against political violence when you talk about violence against property, whatever.
Right.
Excuse me. But I don't think there's look, I don't think there's a benefit to the real left to Trump getting assassinated. I mean, it's only going to put another radical right person in his place. It's going to turn more of the country against the alleged left, and nothing good is going to come from that politically, unless you take out, like, if you were to take out 100 of these fuckers. Now we're talking. If you get,
you have to take out all of, I mean, God, we should just be careful. All a joke.
No,
joking,
I mean, take out to lunch and have a discussion.
Take it out to lunch and have a really well
talk
through with lots of receipts discussion. Yeah, because again, they act like he is this singular anomaly who's so evil. And Project 2025, that is a Republican agenda. That's the Heritage Foundation. Like, what are you talking about? Are they saying that any Republican is dangerous? I believe that. But I also believe most Democrats are dangerous. But I believe that, but they don't. They long for the days of Reagan and the gentleman, good politician, a healthy, strong, vibrant Republican like Mitt Romney and George W. No, they are evil. Social murderers. They're evil. So yeah. A little piece of good cheer. Thank you, Oz. That is so sweet of you. We really appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers, Oz. Thank you.
Thank you. That is very, very sweet. All right. So should we show some more of the crazy talk, or do you want to show some humor, or do you want to show how quickly the whole merch thing happened?
The merch thing.
I mean,
we're skipping over the entire big boy conference. I just.
Oh, do you want to? Yeah, you want to? I mean, we have tons of feet on that, but don't you want to finish this first?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, let's just be done
with it.
Finish
him. Finish him soundtrack.
Just joking. Not a real finish him.
No, like the Mortal Kombat finish him. Sorry.
Oh, right. Okay. So I just thought this was very funny because right away that photograph from the New York Times photographer, I mean, it's it's reminiscent of Iwo Jima and the soldiers, holding up the flag, and there is Trump. And I made a joke about how soon will the merch come out, and I got right away all these responses. So here, this is on the boardwalk in, I think this is, Wildwood, New Jersey. I think that's where it is. Anyway, so it's Will Never Stop. Shooting makes me stronger. But then this just made me laugh. On the bottom right, there's that I will never stop fighting for America. Okay, so that's Trump in the middle of, or just having been shot. To the left of that, it's a shirt that says Huck Tui 24. You got to spit on that thing. So I had to, because I know people keep talking about it, but I hadn't seen the original video that comes from. So just for like a little bit of, idiocy.
Oh, we're showing the Hawk Tuah girl?
Can I show it?
Let's
Hawk
see.
Tuah.
Yeah, of course.
How many is on your roster?
There's only one I want. I love you, Pookie, forever.
How do you get over a breakup?
The only way to get over one is get under another. Get the cobwebs off this thing.
This mother don't miss.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing. You get me?
And that's when she
Spit on that thing, and that is a shirt. Sorry, Pat. The only reason I stopped it there is because then it starts music, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna get tagged for using copyrighted music.
You got me sneaking a beer. From my
I know,
new
with
fridge
your-
that's facing the right direction. And now bread's falling out because I'm socialist, so all I have is like bread and beer.
Bread and beer, that's all you need. I hope it makes you as happy as it makes me that you're able to open the refrigerator the other way now. Like I haven't even used your refrigerator, but it makes me I love it.
It does, but it's been like a month, and I still, every time I'm not doing a podcast, grab the wrong corner of the fridge and curse myself for making this decision. But did I tell you my new technology is great, by the way?
Yeah, it's really
I
great.
got an automatic litter box for my cat, Strike, and just as we normally would share the shit in the beginning, so I don't make people that come to the show actually suffer through my cat stories. But of course I get the thing out. It's the cat sits in it. You're supposed to automatically figure out when they leave and then spin over, and then you got fresh kitty litter, which I'm trying to do because I figure if it's fresh, maybe there's a chance the cat doesn't pee on my couch so goddamn much, or me.
We're hoping.
Anyway, I put the cat in it, and it's supposed to have these safety features to realize when the cat's not there. And the first thing it does is circle around the cat. Strike got out, but freaked her the fuck out.
Wait, it circled around with her in it, or
With
she
her
made
in it,
that
there's-
happen?
There's an exit.
Okay.
So she was able to get out, but it did the exact opposite of what it was. So that was yesterday.
Right.
But the good news is I woke up this morning to some poop in there. So she's already over it. I might be winning this thing.
Oh my
Hasn't
God,
been on the couch for an entire day. Technology.
I really, really hope that's true. It reminds me, did you see I think it was the first Jackass where he goes into a portalette. One of the guys goes into a portalette and they have the truck comes in, like seals him in and then turns it upside down on him.
Pain.
Like following my kids around to all of their games, like in all these different places. And a lot of times your only option is a portalette, which is so disgusting. And then once when Asher was younger and he was doing like some soccer tournament, and I started going out there and it was this field, it was so windy, a portalette got knocked over. So what happened to Strike is incredibly traumatic. Good for her for getting herself in there.
She worked through it.
Yeah, she worked.
Right.
All right, wheel. Should we do a wheel and then move on to other stuff? Or
Let's
okay.
spin the wheel since we're being ridiculous.
We're being a little ridiculous. It's just been rough. It's been a rough 8 years.
Yeah, baby.
There you go.
Right? That's pretty good. And yeah, I saw somebody, Viola. Yeah, we decided because I had shots here available and Pat didn't. And so we were like, all right, well, on Sundays, we'll just drink harder.
Yeah, it's God's day.
Yeah, it's a day of rest. Look at that. Look at that. All right.
Well, we got another puppet.
Do we have another puppet?
Yeah, of course. We're good.
Should I remove it?
I don't give a goddamn how famous I am or whatever. It don't matter to me because I'm about dead anyway, so what do I give a shit? What in the hell do I care? I don't.
That was very cute. That was good. All right. Do we have anything else we want to share about yesterday? I mean, I know we have more stuff, but like, what do you think?
Okay, I have one conspiracy that I checked. It has yet to be disproved.
All right, let's see it then.
This could be crap. I don't want to be promoting crap.
This is just to give people an idea of what's being shared out there. So we're not
there's a lot of
endorsing
misinformation.
or rejecting. Yeah.
If this is false, I will remove this immediately and apologize. It probably is. But BlackRock, one of the most evil, vile companies in America, who's buying up all the real estate. This kid is allegedly in this video that BlackRock put out
from yesterday.
The shooter. So
I've seen
29 seconds.
That's not true, but let's see it. I haven't even seen the video. So
I have not seen it disproven firmly by anybody. So I don't know.
All right, let's see it.
But either way, fuck BlackRock. And if you want to connect him to BlackRock, I don't know. Worse things could happen.
That's true. That is true.
My name is Brian DeLallo. I teach AP and honors economics in
It's a
Pittsburgh,
BlackRock
Pennsylvania.
commercial.
Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do. I hope when I retire someday, they say that guy made this place a special place to come to school and give
That's
as much as
allegedly
he
him
could
there.
to help the community.
Well, there's allegedly another picture, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So that's I don't believe that was him. I just don't know that it wasn't.
I have no idea. I mean, there's so much. Listen, people are making a lot of noise one way or the other about who he was and what that means. And it's just like Trump, it's a much bigger problem than just one person, what a world where and he's 20 years old. Like, you have to think about how little hope a 20-year-old has to do that. And for what? And also, like, I mean, I didn't even show this to you. We were putting this show together. We normally have a little more time for our Sunday shows. We were putting it together so last minute. And there was an Alex Jones video, apparently from a few months ago, that I pulled where he and his guest, and I don't know who his guest was, maybe, I have no idea, some right-winger, saying that the way to go is to try to take Trump out because that would end the left. Like, I don't know, people's minds work in such crazy ways because, again, I just have to keep coming back to like the lesson that I learned as a kid all through even grade school, middle school, high school, college, was the rise of fascism came out of desperation and depression and not having the material things that people need to keep themselves having some sort of dignified life. And so you blame it on somebody else. I know there are lots of other, it's not that simple, but that's a huge part of it. And Democrats have just opened the door. They've left such a huge hole. They're supposed to be the party of the working class. Obviously, they're not. They're supposed to be the opposition to Republicans. They're not. So, like, this is a really pretty stark moment. And I don't see what's going to pull us out of it except for the working class. But, like, this is a big country. It's hard to get everybody on the same page at the same time. It's not in our system the way it is in France, right? I know it's Bastille Day, or they say they celebrate Juillet 14, but like it's not in our blood in this country to strike all the time. It's starting again, and that's great, but like, we don't even manufacture all that much here where we can shut things down in the same way they can in other places. And we don't have funds in the same way. Like, that's all starting. It's great. We have to keep it going because that is our only hope. But that has also been a concerted effort by both parties to make us all dependent on health insurance through your employer, to be like that close to death, to homelessness, to unemployment, so that you're constantly just working. You don't have time to do other stuff, right? So like, I don't know. Not feeling the hope this moment.
Well, and I think that's, look, who knows what this individual actor, what motivated them, but there is no, like, if you're the left of both political parties, who's fighting for you? Because you don't even have AOC or Bernie really fighting for you.
Yeah.
So like, the disenfranchisement that a lot of people are feeling is because of their economic conditions largely, right? So,
right.
This could be somebody radicalized farther right than Trump and mad that he's bought into Trump's rhetoric and mad that he won't go far enough. Or it could be someone on the far right who's like Christian fundamentalist and, Trump's not, he's not going to go for a federal abortion ban. And he latched on to Trump because he was the abortion guy. And he's like, well, let's make him a martyr and we'll, do so. Who knows? But the bottom line is the left isn't offering the public anything. The fake left, the Democrats aren't offering anything in opposition to this. They're not offering hope. You got Biden out here running on doing things in his first 100 days that he couldn't do in 4 years, which is
that was so absurd. Yeah.
His entire platform he can't do. And so how is that giving anyone hope? And you look at Biden and you're like, you can't win. So now I don't trust the entire Democratic Party because 80% of people want him out and you're not doing fuck all about it.
Yeah.
So where's the hope? So, when there's no hope, people latch on to radical viewpoints. That's how you get Nazis, because somebody preys on this person who's in a terrible situation and says, blame them.
Right.
Blame them.
And the media is 100% complicit with all of it. So yeah. All right. So did you want to, like, I'm not sure. Are you saying you do want to cover the press conference from Thursday? Because then I have to upload a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, no. Well, let's save that for Wednesday, but I guess.
I feel like we're going to have stuff to talk about with that versus what's happening at the Republican convention. Right?
Yeah. 100%.
We do have a couple of other things about, we have a couple of videos. I don't know. Where are you in the whole deal here?
I mean, I'm going to show timeline cleanses and puppets and silly shit
you're here
the rest of the night. So
yeah.
Let's hear from a wise person, just because you listen to me a little too much. Seems like you should hear a wise guy talk here.
Let's hear a wise guy.
No shade on you, Lila.
Yeah, sure. I'm a wise gal.
If all of your money is being siphoned off into the war industry, then you get what we get, which is an infrastructure that is decayed, roads, bridges, we have major cities that don't even have clean water, half the country living in poverty or near poverty, and so as the country is disemboweled.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. What is
voices
that?
There?
Want to try that again? That's bizarre. StreamYard.
I feel like I could blame our editor, which is me, so I'm going to not try that again.
Oh, do you think that's what happened?
I think somehow I left another tape. We have more words of wisdom from Chris Hedges.
Okay.
You say the only language left is the language of death. It is how Israel speaks to the Palestinians. It is how the Palestinians are forced to speak back. So I'm wondering if you can expound on that.
So Israel's intent was always to cleanse historic Palestine. That intent had to be denied because it would make it hard to mollify the Palestinians, and it would be hard for Israel to project the image of the only democracy in the Middle East. But the intent was always there. So you reached a point, I think Oslo was really the moment that the Palestinians realized that there would never be a peaceful solution. And finally, Arafat wasn't willing to be a quisling. And most of us who cover the Middle East believe he was murdered by the Israelis. But after that, I think it was clear to the Palestinians times that Israel had no intention of honestly attempting to create a two-state solution.
I just uploaded the other one only because it's a little more specific to this. It just doesn't have the awesome little wraparound.
No, roll thing, because that one was about Israel, obviously.
Yeah. So this one's a little more specific to, last gasps of an empire.
If all of your money is being siphoned off into the war industry, then you get what we get, which is an infrastructure that is decayed, road, bridges. We have major cities that don't even have clean water. Half the country living in poverty or near poverty. And so as the country is disemboweled, the harsh tools of control that are perfected on the outer reaches of empire then brought back to the country to maintain control. So that's wholesale surveillance, militarized police, drones. We have the largest prison system in the world. So militarism, the great socialist Karl Liebknecht, and the inception of World War I, called the German military the enemy from within. That's essentially what it is. They will sacrifice the country on the altar of war, and then they engage in military adventurism in futile attempts to regain a lost hegemony. Empires aren't actually destroyed. They commit collective suicide. And I think that's what we're watching.
It does feel that way. He always phrases it so articulately.
This is the end of the American empire. Like, that's the clearest thing of all day. We can't even stop it now. I mean, but we can make our own life and society better at this point. But like, our place in the world is gone.
I actually think that is cause and effect. Like, I think it will be, it will certainly be better for the world, I would hope. Unless one, if it's not a multipolar, if it's not a multipolar world that emerges from this, then that's going to be a problem. But if it is something where there isn't just one hegemonic power, it might force the people in power in our country to turn inward for those of us who are here. I just saw, Devin just wrote RIP Dr. Ruth, Richard Simmons, and Shannon Doherty, which, yesterday, what a day. Like, a lot happened.
And the from The Shining, what's her name?
Shelley Duvall. Yeah.
Shelley Duvall also, like,
a couple days ago. Yeah.
Good people.
I know. Dr. Ruth did so many fantastic things. She really did. And then I got worried because, especially in this moment, as soon as I started kind of trying to research and find some fun clips, it came out that, I don't know. It started to feel like it was going to open up a whole other can of worms, right? That, like, she did escape the Holocaust. Both of her parents were killed in concentration camps. She was sent to Palestine, and she became a, resistance leader, which is or a sniper for the resistance, which it's like, well, what were you resisting? That's like, it all was that period.
It's kind of crazy to think that Dr. Ruth was an Israeli sniper.
Yeah. When she was like 8. Yeah.
That's the truth. But, look, that was when she was 18. Who knows the trajectory, but we decided we were going to run an OGT thing on her. But
and then, it became a little more complicated. But yes, rest in peace. She, I think she stood with Israel as lots of older Jews do, especially somebody who escaped the Holocaust, whose parents were killed. She did, right after October 7th, say how sad she was. And she, both sides did on some level, but like, better than most of the people in power, just said how sad she was for the blood that was being shed on both sides. And that was on October 7th or 8th. And I didn't see it. And then she was like in hospice or in a care center. So, but anyway, it's hard once you dig into anybody's past, but she did a lot of great things. The way she spoke so frankly about sex and female orgasms was like a whole new world for people in this country in the 80s. and she was 4'7". I don't know. There's something so funny to me that she was like so powerful and feisty and so little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos to her. I mean, I love that she was this little feisty girl who seemed so, would look on the surface prude, and she was just so open talking about, you know.
And I do know that her son, who's a professor,
make me squirm.
Yeah, is an anti-Zionist. But yes, did those things made you squirm? We're gonna have to do a whole show on the female orgasm, Pat.
Find it. Good luck. I don't know where I'm going with
I know that joke.
I think we are wrapping it up. I think
we're wrapping it up. Yeah. Did I just I ended it?
It's Bastille Day, July 14th in France.
That's right.
So there's a lot going on in France. I mean, our one good thing that we're going out on is some coverage and explanation of what Bastille Day was. But I was thinking about it, and I was actually looking for a video on it. But I want to say kudos to the Tour de France for one, because they are bringing back mask mandates for their teams, and they're isolating
it took a
teams
while,
from the public. But look, people who don't believe COVID is a real threat, this is an outdoor sport. These are people outdoors, and it's bringing down the Tour de France. So they know their whole brand is at stake, and this is an outdoor sport, and these people are mandating masks.
That's right. Because so many of them got COVID.
It's killing their sport.
It's going to kill their sport. Yeah, it is. Also, the Australian swim team just showed up for the Olympic trials or whatever they're doing in France, all masked. You know, so
and I was looking for either a good video on the masking for the Tour de France. There's no video. There's a video of them in 2020 telling riders to mask.
Yeah.
Now there's, because whatever.
Yeah.
But also,
I saw a couple right before we went on. Yeah.
The Olympics are about to start in Paris, which is going to be a super spreader event like crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
All right.
But that said, they have Mélenchon there. He just gave a great speech about recognizing Palestine as its own country and the genocide that is happening with the heavy complicity of the US and the UK. And let's hope that we bring back that same spirit of liberté, égalité, fraternité for workers uniting. Juillet 14.
You left out guillotine.
I got permanently suspended from Twitter for writing about bringing back the French Revolution a few months ago. So I'm gonna
happy Bastille Day, folks.
Happy Bastille Day. We'll see you all on Wednesday. Thanks for showing up. Cheers. Keep punching up.
Coucou! Today is an important day in France. It's Bastille Day. But in France, we never call this day Bastille Day. We say le 14 juillet, which means July 14th. It's a national holiday, une fête nationale en France. So, c'est quoi le 14 juillet? It's a significant day in l'histoire de France, as it commemorates la prise de la Bastille, the storming of the Bastille fortress on July 14, 1789, 1789. It became a pivotal point in the French Revolution, la Révolution française, and it was a symbol of resistance against la monarchie, the monarchy, and social inequity. Another significant event connected to le 14 juillet is la Fête de la Fédération. La Fête de la Fédération, which is the first anniversary of the storming of la Bastille. It marked a new ruling for la monarchie constitutionnelle and celebrate the unity of the French people. On that day, there are many exciting events all over France, such as des concerts, des parades, des feux d'artifice. So I hope you have a wonderful 14 juillet. Bisous!
We're on fire.